Today on Real Bites with the Kirbys, we're going to do something special. We're going to brine a turkey, and then we're going to put that turkey on the smoker. All right, so we're in with a cup and a half of pink salts. We've got our 4 tablespoons of peppercorns and our 5 bay leaves. We have our 2 tablespoons each, rosemary and thyme, also a half teaspoon of ground ginger. We're going in with our orange zest and our 2 quartered lemons. Woo! Sure we get all that goodness in there. Now we're going to go in with our orange that we've juiced. As I said, 4 very generous teaspoons of garlic. Whenever there's a recipe that calls for crushed garlic, I tend to add a lot more than it calls for because we love garlic around here.
It also keeps the vampires away since it's Halloween.
That's true. It does keep the vampires away, which is something you have to watch for here in the springs. So we're going to take this, we're going to get back on our stovetop. We're going to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to let it simmer for about 10 minutes. We've simmered our brine for about 10 minutes. We let it cool to room temperature. We put our turkey, this is about a 14-pound bird that we put in. We put it breast side down. Very important, breast side down. Then we just dump that brine over in there. I didn't filter the brine. I didn't take out anything at all. We're just going to soak it like it is. And we're just going to move this over to this pan. You got to be really careful, as I just found out a minute ago, when you do this step, not to spill the brine all over the table and the floor. The dog was happy about it. Now we're just going to let that sit and brine. You need to let it brine for about 12 to 24 hours. We did 12 hours last time. I'm going to go for about 18 this time. And that'll really put some nice flavor into it. So we're going to take this off the fridge and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Welcome back. This is day 2 of our turkey smoking process. So we've brined this turkey as we showed you last night. The only thing that I did was I took it out of the brine. I gave it a quick rinse. We can see we've still got some peppercorns hanging on there. So we're going to get this ready to go in the smoker. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spatchcock this turkey. That'll help it to cook a little bit more even. And I'm going to show you how to do this. You need a good pair of kitchen shears. What we're going to do is we're just going to cut around down both sides of this backbone. Now we're just going to turn this bird over. And we should put a push down. Spread this out. Now, when we put the turkey in the smoker like this, this is going to help it cook a lot more evenly. So what I'm going to do next, we're going to pause. I'm going to pat this dry. And then we're going to talk about how we're prepping it with some butter, some salt, pepper, garlic, and we'll get it out on the smoker. Okay, so I'm just going to make a cut here. There's already a factory made cut here, so I'm just going to kind of expand on this. I've got about a half a pound of butter that I've set out to let soften. This is just going to go right on that skin, right on top of the breast. All right, folks, so we got our butter in here. We got this patted dry. Wash my hands. So we're going to try to do clean hand, dirty hand. You know how I usually go with this, so we'll just see how it works out. First of all, I'm going to give this a little spritz with some olive oil. And I'm making a mess here, which has been the theme of this cook. And then this is just an equal part salt, pepper, and garlic mixture. Just going to coat the outside of this. Just a nice little addition for some flavor. That brine that we did last night is really going to incorporate some good flavor into the meat. All right. So we tried our smoke last week, and last week we had an issue with the meat being extremely, extremely tender, and it stayed that way for a long time, but the skin was not crispy. I'm going to try a little bit different method today. This is going to go on the smoker at 225. We're going to keep it there about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I'm going to crank the heat up to 350 until it's done. So with that said, let me wash my hands one more time. We're going to take this out the smoker. All right, so we got our turkey on here smoking. Again, we're at 225. We're smoking with an applewood pellet, and we'll see in a couple hours. We'll see how this is going. We've had a 4-hour smoke. Again, I put it in at 225 for 2 hours and then bumped it up to 350 until we got to internal temperature of 165. On the breast, the thigh was closer to 180 when I pulled it. As I said last time, I had an issue with the skin being a little bit chewy and not crispy, so I think we've done a little bit better with this. Just gonna, yeah, that is not chewy this time. So good job. So if I can resist, I need to let this rest a couple more minutes, and then we'll carve it up and I'll show you what the end product looks like. So we got the turkey carved up. We got the breast out here. I did lose the skin in the process of carving it, so I also ate some skin too and shared some with the producer over here. But I just want to show you this breast. You see you got that little bit of smoke ring in there. Now let's cut into it. Right. Now, the chef gets the first taste. That's good. You can definitely taste the brine, seasoning in the brine. Also, a lot of moisture. It's not the least bit dry. It's got a good flavor. That applewood adds a nice hint of smoke without being overpowering. So I really like that. So I think the only thing we got left to do is to give our producer a bite. All right, folks. Y'all have a good evening. It's time for me to go so I can eat the rest of this.